Darksiders series is filled with memorable encounters and bloody boss fights. As we prepare for the arrival of more grisly showdowns in Darksiders 3, here are 9 of the best bosses in the series so far. Be warned, some spoilers ahead for Darksiders 1 and 2.
This will not end well for you, horseman.
TIAMAT the Dusk Queen presides over the Twilight Cathedral and is as challenging to beat as she is hideous to behold. This abysmal creature is difficult to pin down, hard to evade, and gives war hell throughout their rooftop fight. A titanic, atmospheric, and brutal test of ability, TIAMAT is widely considered to be the most difficult boss to beat in the first Darksiders game.
I am one of the chosen. You must place the stone into the Guardian.
After freeing this towering stone construction from its shackles, Death has to track it down and traverse its heights to put an end to the corruption that controls it. In a fight against a mighty giant that takes place in a forested valley, there are shades of Shadow of the Colossus at play here. It's fitting then that while Death's triumph brings purification, the victory is bittersweet, as both the Guardian and its maker ultimately sacrifice their lives for a higher cause.
Would you serve in heaven or rule in hell?
Is the choice offered to War by ABADDON, also known as the Destroyer, a demonic foe and flaming Diablo. War responds by taking apart the final boss of Darksiders, deftly evading ABADDON's charge attacks before countering with a flurry of blows. As ABADDON reveals his final form, the two combatants duel it out with giant swords until one stands victorious and the other dies a traitor.
You have lost my hand.
Having fought his way to the Well of Souls, Death is confronted by the tentacled menace ABSALOM, the avatar of chaos.
How can you defeat that which seethes in your own heart?
Wielding a huge axe and seething with corruption, this final boss of the Darksiders 2 campaign lashes out from anywhere in his spectral arena, causing massive damage. It's a fight that requires every trick at Death's disposal in both his standard and more powerful Reaper forms, if he's to prevail. This magma construct commander hounds Death from the moment he sets foot inside the dungeon, collapsing walkways and threatening to send him to a scorched grave. The face-off in his furnace lair gets heated very quickly as Gorn unleashes lava eruptions, explosive self-destruction, and corrupted construct minions. As a side quest boss, fighting him is optional, but he's worth seeking out for the swanky loot and the satisfaction of smashing him into 1,000 fiery pieces.
There are so many stories about you.
A hulking, intelligent, and dangerous foe, SILITHA is a collector of stories and a harvester of souls. She reveals the demon fiend SAMAEL is playing war for a fool, before phase-shifting in and out of reality in an attempt to crush the life from his body. She eventually meets her end through violent impalement, as war tears her heart from her chest and silences her stories forevermore.
You have come far, horseman.
With his serrated twin blades and agile fighting style, BASILEUS is an accomplished one-on-one combatant. But it's when Death proves himself a worthy foe that this dead lord of the Psychomeron really brings out the big guns in the form of ACHIDNA, his giant spider companion. Capable of unleashing lightning and striking from the darkness, ACHIDNA proves a potent tag team partner right up until Death decapitates the arachnid, brutally subdues BASILEUS, and takes the spider's venomous fangs as weapons for himself. This gigantic armoured worm can be seen thrashing against its bonds as War carves a path through the Ashlands atop his flaming steed ruin. Shortly after freeing itself, STYGIAN burrows underground and attempts to devour both War and his horse, resulting in a frantic mounted battle across the desert. The constant threat of unseen surprise attacks is brought to an abrupt end when War is devoured by the beast, only to erupt from it moments later in a gory geyser of worm blood and giblets.
You have overcome many obstacles to stand here before me.
Death returns to the past to retrieve the demon key from this powerful boss fiend of Blackstone. SAMAEL has history with the Horsemen as an enemy who struck a deal with War in the first Darksiders.
Bring me their hearts.
And here he's up to his treacherous trickery again.
Pitiful.
His ability to teleport and launch devastating area effect attacks make him one of the deadliest bosses in Darksiders 2. But it's Samael's manipulative and mysterious machinations that make him a franchise favourite. So those are our picks from the best boss fights Darksiders has offered so far. Darksiders 3 promises to add more apocalyptic nightmares as Fury hunts the 7 deadly sins from the heights of heaven to the depths of hell. Watch the first 6 minutes of the boss fight with Sloth in Darksiders 3, and for more on the Darksiders series, keep it locked to IGN.
Are you truly up to the task?